Okay, hi Thea,
Hi, Anne.
and hi everyone. It's been another wild week after a wild year, wild several weeks. Who knows what wild weeks we'll see ahead of us. But we want to do a very brief chat here and talk about what we can do about that, what to do about that, and how do we navigate. And you and I were sharing, Thea, a few quotes that were resonating with us recently. So why don't you start with one you've got?
Yeah. So, Lord of the Rings being one of my favorite stories ever, through our conversations, I was reminded of when Gandalf says, I believe it's to Frodo, when Frodo sort of can't believe that he can make a difference. How can someone so small make a difference? And Gandalf said, some believe that it is only great power that can hold evil in check. But that is not what I found. I found it is the small things, everyday deeds by ordinary folk that keeps the darkness at bay.
And following on that, at least the way I see, so I'm a member of the Association for Research and Enlightenment, which is the Edgar Cayce Institute. Edgar Cayce having been what they call the sleeping prophet. One of the quotes I love in the recent magazine that was sent to me is, peace must begin within self before there can come action or self-application in a way to bring peace, even in thy own household, in thine own vicinity, in thine own state or nation. So, and there's one other quote. Embedded in the tiny everyday choices that beckon toward kindness and love is the essence of the Cayce work. Our oneness with God, our highest self, our oneness with each other. This is from an article written by Leslie and Corinne Cayce. And we souls have a sacred charge to turn toward others, to serve, to cultivate loving compassion. And following on all of that, I want to advise and reassure folks that it really works. It really works to meditate, to pray, to cultivate in our individual spheres a harmony. And that harmony rays out, like you say, Thea, it rays out. And I find that when I do that, even in these tumultuous times and these tumultuous weeks, as I've been putting my intention toward that, just a few minutes a day, it is flowing. My reality and life experience is flowing beautifully, harmoniously, abundantly, positively. And connections are being made with others in beautiful and wondrous ways. So, and I do believe that this is a message that we're getting from many angles, from people who are more tapped in than I am, in terms of having been practicing this for a long time, and even more tapped into these universal truths. What I see is that there is a lot of I see it all as kind of fakery when we watch all that's going on in the large macro scale, and that can be anxiety producing if we really get caught up in it. We have control over ourselves and this sphere. We have control over what we focus on. We have control over our thoughts and our energies, where we are putting our energy. That's what we have control over. We have control over how we choose to respond to the world.
Well, and with that, I would just simply add, a teacher of mine, I believe, I may not quote him precisely, but says, you know, where we put our attention is where we are. And so, you know, that simplified is this opportunity where we're out in the world, in the media world, in actions in the world. There is so much that is disturbing, and we must guard our own spaces in such a way that we do not become disturbed as we see and hear in the broader sphere.
Yeah,
Because we have to do the work to shine clear and bright in order to help to transform outward throughout the world.
right. It's almost more important than ever when it seems very chaotic out there, for us to be even more grounded and centered and stay the course in order to bring it back into balance. Not be led by that, but we will lead it in each of our individual ways. And I don't know if I'd said this on camera already or if we talked about it beforehand, but I kind of visualize it as if it's, you know, billions of spheres of light all over the earth's surface, of each of us harmonizing in this beautiful light. If we are all doing that, how can that not be transformative? How can that not be incredibly powerful? That will transform, that will create the world that we are being ushered into and ushering in. So
I think just those two places of it, ushering in and being ushered into. So they are going along with one another, and there's a relationship there. And so there is responsibility, a lot of self-responsibility to take steps and choose the movements we want to bring into the world with intention and with a state of being that is not a victim to the world.
And it seems as if we have this opportunity now to consciously choose what aspects of our being and managing and existing we want to carry in with us to this new world, and what we may want to leave behind too. And almost everyone I've spoken with, and including myself, have been finding the need to be doing a lot of deep inner work to recognize patterns that have not served us, that don't serve us, and pave the way and create new patterns that will serve us. And as they serve us, they will serve all of us. So that's another focus, I think, right now, to identify identify what's negative in our coping mechanisms and transform them into positive mechanisms of being and ways of being and interacting.
Well, and part of that, in terms of sort of a visual that comes to my mind as you say that, is as you talk about spheres, these spheres of light, those habits that are grooved into places that don't serve us or others are sort of shadowy, right? The grooves are shadowy, so there's some space that doesn't have the light shining so clearly. And so in the midst of that conscientious, thoughtful work of recognizing patterns and shifting them, even filling them with light is helpful. Even if we can't quite name the pattern, or we can't quite say where it comes from. Sometimes just filling it up with the light will be helpful and effective.
Because when we shine light on something, we can bring more consciousness to it. And then it becomes clearer to us to identify.
And it can change. You know, those are the parts. Even if we're not able to yet be exactly what we wish to be, if we can make a choice to change something, that enables us to have a sense of freedom to be able to enact a shift. And that's part of what we're in right now in time, in the world, it seems, as well.
I agree. And so with that, do you want to do it on this one, or shall we stop this recording and set up?
I think I have to move, and I don't quite have a space yet, but there
Yeah.
is a brief exercise that is a spatial dynamics exercise. And it's one that can be helpful to recognizing the light that shines from within us and the light that shines outside of us as well, and the way in which we can connect with the broader world through our own individual work and gesture.
Okay. And so I love this idea that Thea and I have been talking about, her putting some movements together for me, maybe a few other folks that we know, that we can use as, I was calling it an anchor, Thea, but you would call it a...
Oh, what did I say? It was really good.
It was.
It was, I can't remember.
It's a tangible, so, you know,
Yes.
in my recommendation that everyone take 5 minutes when they get up in the morning, and don't get on the phone, don't get on the computer, sit with your cup of coffee or tea or whatever it is, look out the window, look at the wall, look at a beautiful plant, and what?
A candle, if it's very dark where you are when you...
Exactly, a candle, and take 5 minutes in some form of meditation and stillness and quiet with oneself, with some positive energy, focused. And whether that's in prayer, affirmation, simply meditation, but also
Move,
movement.
as well, right? The way in which we move with intention is...
Yeah. And so Thea's going to record this movement for me and for all of you to use to accompany that and to incorporate as part of your very quick, nice, powerful, and positive way to start the day.
And I would add that in the evening before bed is also as powerful a time as the morning. Both, if you can swing it. I think in before bed is very powerful, because you then take whatever that is that you have stepped into or created in those couple minutes, you take that into your sleep, which is hours of sleep. So a lot can be done in that space if you go into it with a mindfulness or an intentional something. So, you know, having good habits in the evening are also a really nice place to make a shift.
Thanks for that reminder. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so again, we'll post this, we'll end this recording, and then I will post the link to this short movement video that Thea is going to provide us in the same post on the Sacred Osiris page post.
I've been in meetings lately. I'm like, thumbs up to that.
All right. Okay. I love you. Love you all.
Thank you.
And there we go.